Welcome back to the Colorado Springs Business Podcast. My name is Andrew Hasley, and I am the host of the show. I'm sitting here with Ronda Macrory.
Yes.
All right, so Rhonda, can you tell us what you do in like a sentence or two?
Sentence or two.
Yes.
Limited. Yes, I am a business coach, and I specialize working with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and small business owners up to employees of about 10 or 12.
Ah, sweet. Yes, I like to really introduce the guest and then do the ads. I was doing it backwards, but I was like, I should probably introduce the guest first, huh? So yeah, I'm going to read off the ad for today's episode. And the ad is the advertising space right here. We have one ad in the works. So we just got to get the script right for that, and she's going to send it over, and we'll be having an ad right there. So if you want advertising space on the show, you better hurry up before it gets all filled.
All right.
And so I'm going to go ahead and roll the intro music. And this is a show where we have real conversations with the business owners and entrepreneurs here in Colorado Springs, doing things in the community of Colorado Springs.
Is that you?
Yes, that's me.
Very nice.
Thank you. So Rhonda, how's it been?
It's been really good. How about with you?
Oh man, things have been amazing. Things just progress and keeping things happening, organizing things, making things more streamlined for the show, really getting it dialed in, I guess is the best way to say it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So how's business been? We'll act like we didn't do an episode before and just cover everything we tried to cover on the last time. Because I'll let the audience know. Last week we did an interview and I messed it up. So Rhonda has been gracious enough to grace us with her presence twice. Yes. So yeah, Rhonda. So let's talk about a little bit about your business, and then we'll dive into some other questions as well.
Okay. So what do you want to know in particular?
Just I guess you kind of gave like a broad overview at the beginning of the episode, but can you go a little deeper of how you help your clients?
Sure. So what I specialize in is the infrastructure for a client's business. And what that means is that it's a 3-part framework.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times, people come to me and they are struggling with certain aspects, time management or organization, like you were saying, and we're not getting enough clients in the door. Maybe, a combination of different things. Mm-hmm. And really what that is, it's an underlying issue. And that is that there is no core structure for the business. So that's what I help my clients do. And there's this 3-step framework for that.
For the core structure?
Yes.
All right. Let's hear it.
All right. So the first step is all about managing your thoughts. So in a nutshell, mindset, focus, clarity, because if we don't know exactly what our aim is, we're not going to get there, And then the second is managing your relationships and network. Because again, first we've got to have the thoughts, and then we need to have these workflows in place, so we can properly communicate and keep, assisting ourselves with repeat and referral business. And so there are 3 parts to that section as well. And so we go over schedule control, those workflows for all the different marketing units of your business, and then also performance measurement. Because if we're not keeping score, we don't know where we're at, and we don't know how we're going to get to where we're going.
For sure.
And then the third step is all about managing routines. So what that means is processes and procedures, and continually to develop and streamline, and then start automating. So it saves the business owner a lot of time, puts them in that actual CEO position seat where they get to spend their time planning, visioning, and growing their business, and then delegating, whether or not they have staff or not, to tools and to other structures to get the day-to-day operations under control, so they can spend the time doing what they want and why they started the business in the first place.
For sure. So do you go in and work one-on-one with them to help them discover this plan?
I do both.
Okay.
So, and I'm in transition, just like you're, doing things for your studio and whatnot that are helping you streamline and, be more efficient. I do the same thing for myself. So,
nice.
Yes, over the last 12 years, my basic program has been that I go and I meet with people one-on-one. And as with anybody, there's a ceiling to that. So I have now transitioned, or am transitioning, still doing that, but then I'm able to serve more clients and I'm working with them online. So my whole program is in a learning platform, and it's paired with some software, which is a pretty remarkable contact management system with workflow automation and marketing automation. And then the coaching, is online to help the client to go ahead and implement the learning and applying it to the software so they can get to that point where their perfect situation of what that looks like, for them, their money goals, their time freedom goals, and who they're serving, kind of goals. And we can do all that online now.
So essentially, you're telling me you used video to automate your processes.
I did.
Awesome. That's what I try to tell people.
Plug. But yes, I did.
Yes.
I used a lot of it.
Nice. Yeah. You said in our last interview, some upwards of like 70 videos?
Yeah, I think there's actually 74.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome. So that means that there's a lot of information. You've been able basically you've worked with multiple clients before, and you've taken what's worked and put these into video messages in a system that's modular probably, and breaks it down, and people can go through at their own pace and learn these things. So if they're in the learning software and they have a question, are they able to reach out to you? Is there a Facebook group?
We have 3 different ways.
Okay.
So yes, and actually there's probably more than 3, but there is a Facebook group. There is, I have set up with each lesson, because, it's like a book, right? So we've got, the courses and then the chapters within and then the lessons. And so within every lesson that actually has homework, for the client to be working on, they can turn that into me through cloud storage, and I can give them direct feedback on that particular, lesson. Then there's also one-on-one time with me as well.
Okay.
So for, soundboarding, for ideas, thoughts, and all those kind of things, or, just generic
like a consultation
help.
kind of?
So then we have our coaching and consultation time. That's one-on-one. And then there's always support if necessary, if they need to shoot out an email, or text to me, because I don't want any question that to have to linger in between sessions. So if there is something, then they're free to send something out so they can get their answer and keep moving along, in their progress.
So what inspired you to want to really break or automate your business?
Well, it's the same as, I teach, everybody else. It's like, at some point, if you're going to grow, and I've heard this, and I'm sure you've all heard this, several times, but if you're not moving forward, you're rolling backwards.
Okay.
Because there is no such thing as standing still. I mean, there just isn't. That's a fallacy to think that you can just, this is where I want to be, and this is where I'm staying. Because even if you're kind of staying there, people are moving past you. And so you're really not staying there. You're starting to now get behind. So for me, I wanted to be able to move my business forward, in an automated way instead of hiring like mini coaches. So that's what I decided. And so when I decided to do that, then it was, okay, how am I going to, be able to accomplish that? So I did take some time out, took everything that I've done, put it down in a process, and was able then to describe it, through video, and then pair all of the work, into it. And then got a programming partner, to do a software for me for that
Sweet
contact management system. So now it's an apply, learn, apply, have the coaching, and implement and automate in the software. So
Nice.
It's an all-in-one solution.
And so it's probably like a lot of time investment up front, but have you seen, has it helped you yet? Because I know you're still in the process kind of really getting it out there, right? And so have you seen, has it saved you time yet?
Oh, yes.
Sweet.
Yes. So all the new clients, that are coming on board are coming through this program.
Nice. And I actually, there's a process that I have put into this show that's going to be, it's kind of automated in a way. It's scheduling the interviews. It's using Calendly, and Calendly is amazing because it's also, because I don't do any kind of follow-up for the interview or like a reminder. I figure if you accept the calendar invite, that's enough. But then I learned yesterday, it's good to have a day reminder before. And this software, if they schedule or when they schedule their time to do their interview, it'll send them automatically an email the day before reminding them of the interview. And then it's going to send 5 hours after the interview of just thanking them being on the show, and then also asking them to share it to their network as well, because I think that's going to be the biggest way this show is going to grow. And so it's some automation in there.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. But it took you, I'm sure, a little bit of thought, right? You were doing your interviews and you're like, maybe this person missed the appointment, or they called you, to say, what time was that again? And then you do. And then that's when, and that's the encouragement, for any business owner, say, this now is becoming, a thing. And so let's make it easier on us by automating it when we can.
Yeah, and I've just been like moving so fast with this show, like just failing forward, I guess. Doing things before I'm ready. By that I mean, like, when I started getting this space for the show, I didn't even plan to do 5 episodes a week. Like just a week and a half ago, I was going to do 6 episodes a week. But then I was like, let's keep it Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. no matter what. Because we had 2 slots, 10 a.m. or 1 p.m. And I decided 10 a.m. is the best slot. Not only just for me, but to make sure the episode gets out in time, because we record the episode and we get it out in the next few hours. That's how fast we like to go here. And I was looking at some of the other business podcasts here in Colorado Springs, because the Chamber of Commerce actually sent me an email this morning with, and I reached back to him like, how do I get on this list? Because it was a list of a bunch of business podcasts that were going on in Colorado Springs, and you might, if you want to promote and reach out to them and go on their shows as well too. But I was like, how do I get on this list? And I just sent the email earlier, but I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, you're going with that. You were streamlining from 10 to 1.
Oh, yes.
Where you had the 2, and then you realized that 10 o'clock's a better slot, and then you can do all your work right afterwards.
And what I noticed with the other business podcast, they're only doing once a week. So we're going to fly forward. Because I've turned this into a full-time job. I think we talked about that a little bit last time.
Yeah.
And I got an editor who's going to be editing the episodes. We're working on some things with Chuck, what he's going to be doing. He also sits in and helps streamline the clip process, because while we're talking, anytime we have some like good piece of information, Chuck's over there hitting timestamps, and so it makes it quicker for us to edit the. And I'm giving other people the blueprint right here. See, I'm not afraid. I love giving out my best advice because I know not only most people are not going to act on it, they're not me.
Right.
And
that's
so,
absolutely true.
So I do it, and if they want to do it their own way, then that's cool too. So yeah. So I just went on a tangent there. Let's go talk a little bit about. So how did you get started in doing your business? Go back to the beginning, I guess.
All right. Well, in the beginning, I was in the corporate world, and I did that for about 14 or so years. Then I had an opportunity. I met my husband-to-be, and he was a mortgage broker and did not have any processes, or systems. And so the business was okay, but a lot more work than it needed to be. So fast forward, after I was pregnant with my second child, then I decided I'm going to quit the corporate life and really learn, how to help run this family business. And so my role was to figure out, or the role I gave myself, was to figure out how are we going to make this business really profitable and in the least amount of time, because now 2 kids and, being in an area of the country where I want to enjoy my time, away from work. And so that's what I concentrated on, and I got my first business coach at that time and started immersing in different books and just starting to figure it out. And it dawned on me, what we were talking about earlier, that his lack of organization and lack of follow-up and all that wasn't the problem. It was that there was no framework for the business. So I built the framework for the business, and then after that, we were just able to grow exponentially, and we actually grew into 2 other businesses in the same industry, but ones that afforded, more money, as far as transactional and whatever. So that's kind of how I started, and my passion was not necessarily the industry, but it was building a business. I started meeting other people, that we were doing work with. They were asking, how are you doing this? So I sat down. They were friends, well, okay, this is what I did. And then started helping them. They're like, oh my gosh, never thought about that. I've been in business 20 years, and I know I was disorganized, but I just could never get on top of it. So unfortunately, when that personal relationship, went away, so did kind of everything else. So my children and I came out to Colorado, and I needed to start over. I had my broker's license, could have done that, but again, wasn't my passion. So I started putting together, step by step, what I did for myself, how I was helping other people, joined a networking group, started working with people. The first 2 people I started working with, I did for free because I just wanted to see, if it would really, as a business, the other ones were more casual helping, but as a business, would this work? And as it started working, then they're like, well, I'm going to pay you, so I'm like, okay. And then I started getting paying clients, and I never looked back.
People who just starting out are what I've noticed tend to think they're better than what they are, or by that I mean they don't understand the value of free. And you just proved how valuable free is, actually, because it really helps you build your name. One of the first projects I did out here was for free. So,
right.
Yeah, and it really helps you build that. It proves that you can do it in a way.
Right. And then you get some of the, the social promotion, from those individuals, and then you start building that part, of your being the authority in that area that you're working in.
Yes. And double check the video is still going? Yep. All right.
Yes.
Awesome. Double checking everything now. Eventually we're going to get it so dialed in we won't have to double check anything. But it was just bugging me. It was sitting in the back of my head.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is cool. What's some books that you would recommend? Some of the ones you first started when you said you started picking up some books. What was some of those books?
The one that I will say gave me the aha, and we were at our house in the desert. Kids were in the pool. I digested this book in probably a half hour or less, and it was The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Okay.
And that was the one, I was with a coach, and at the time the coach wasn't teaching me processes necessarily. I mean, it was more just industry related, hitting things like, okay, you can get clients, using this kind of thing, you can do this kind of thing. And I was sitting there and I started reading and I couldn't put it down. It was just more here, play with this, for another little bit of time. I got to finish this book.
For sure.
And once I finished it, I set that thing down and I said, that's it. That is what I have to do. And from that moment on, that was my goal. And it took a while because we had a business that had several, as everything does. You pointed out earlier, you got your editor, you've got, this, you've got this, and you yourself still wear how many different hats?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I learned to design it, for everything and for everything how I wanted it to be. So it took some time because I also I had to learn those positions to be able to document them, to be able to bring them to light and how I could replace them myself and hire other people.
Exactly.
So it took time. So, I realized that, it's a lot in the front, but once it started working,
you could scale it.
I just scale it, and it was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
It really was incredible, but that was the book. There are several, and on my website, I actually have a tab that says Ronda Reads,
Oh, nice.
And they're all listed, all the books that I like to promote, to business
And your
owners.
website is RondaReady?
RondaReady.com, no H.
No H.
No H.
Get the heck out of here with that.
That's right. It's not Rhonda. I never understood that. I really don't.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, the H is silent. Like Django, the D is silent.
Yeah. But what's it in there for? Why complicate things?
Yeah, I 100% think that, like the word subtle. Why is the B there?
Yeah, you don't really need it. So, yes. So that would be the one book for me that just gave me that's what I have to do.
Okay.
Because that's the foundation. Like I said, there are all these other books, that will teach you a lot of self-development, sales, marketing, hone in on, maybe, better ways of time management or organization, how to, target market, all kinds of things, social media. They're all kind of specialties. But if you throw that into a mix where there's no good platform, it's not going to solve that underlying issue. So.
And our guest yesterday actually does something similar to what you do. And I asked her a question if she could break it down into 3 things. And I didn't even realize, I think I was subconsciously tapping into our last conversation. But I do like to break things into 3 things, and I'm glad you do that. It's like a minimalist approach to to things, because you can really like really start breaking those things into 3 things like you do. And I was going somewhere with that. Oh well. So I asked her the question, how she would approach organizing, or because she loves organizing, that's her thing. And I asked her approach and how she would go about putting the systems in together for the Colorado Springs Business Podcast. What would you do if I asked you that question? I mean, I'm asking you that question.
Well, I would walk you through my program.
Okay.
Just as I described it.
Nice. And exactly, that's exactly what you teach, and that's so that's right on par. Nice.
Yep, because it's fundamental to any business. When I first started, people were like, well, have you ever worked with a glass replacement business? And I'm like, nope, you'll be the first, but I don't need to know anything about the glass replacement. Now, when we get to certain aspects, you're going to give me that information so I can help you design what needs to be designed. But as far as developing a business, and that core foundation, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I've worked for solopreneurs, businesses, like I said, businesses have been around 20 to 30 years, startups, just starting. The fundamentals are the fundamentals.
So I'm sure you have processes. If you open the talk about some of them, what are some of the ways you get clients into your system?
Yeah, so one of the newest ways is through social media. And so I do have, a funnel goes through. And what's really cool is that I have it set up through my own CRM.
Okay.
So when people want to join my group, they come actually through my contact management system. So I don't have to do a thing.
Okay.
So they fill out, a short questionnaire, goes into my contact management system. So now I have their contact. I have some information that they've given me, about what their current struggles, and obstacles are. And then I have some automation built in for follow-up, which is really great.
Oh, yeah.
When they just pop up, some things are automatic, some things assign a task, and away we go. So there's nothing dropped or missed.
And what software do you use for your CRM?
It's mine.
Oh, yeah, you said you hired a developer to make it for you.
So it's
okay.
crm.rondaready.com.
Okay, nice. Because I'm very fascinated with CRMs because I have yet to use them, and I can't wait to really dive in and really, because it just seems like something that seems fun to me. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
Well, in your business, you could really benefit from it too. So, off camera.
Yeah.
At some other point, if you want to, I'll give you a short demonstration.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, because there's a lot in there. I mean, it's not only, like I said, a contact, management database, but it's also marketing automation, workflow automation, and then there are landing pages in there as well, single web pages that you can do all kinds of things with, and you don't need to be a programmer because there's a ton of templates. But if you happen to have a programmer, they can tweak them too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. It works really well. There's no wasted space in there.
And does it use like algorithms? Like if someone makes this decision on this part, then do this? I'm sure it does. Yeah, that's what they're designed for too.
Yeah, and the workflow, that's something that, as you would design what your process is, then you plug it in. So again, it's a learn, design, apply, and then implement it.
And then it's probably an ongoing process forever, like at least tweaking it and making...
It is. It's like anything else. You make it, and then you improve upon it. Yeah, maintain it and improve upon it. So what was good today, 6 months from now, you may say, I just learned something better. Not only am I going to use this calendar, but now I'm going to send them 4 different reminders. So you already improved upon your system for that within a week.
Yeah.
And so it's the same kind of thing. And again, if we're not moving forward,
we're
going backward.
Definitely.
And it's so much easier to improve upon, something that's already there, that you can say, oh, we were doing A, B, C, now we're going to do A, B, C, and D. And that's so much quicker.
For sure.
Than starting over every day going, what is it that we do? I can't remember. Was it this? Where's that email? Where'd I put that? How'd you say that?
For sure.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. I love, growing my business, and I love talking about it. That's why I have a business podcast. So,
Yeah.
so yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss and cover, or let the people know?
Just that, if you find yourself struggling with time management, organization, lack of systems and processes, not getting enough clients in the door, the RondaReady system will help.
Yeah.
Because it's about not only putting together all those steps that we talked about, but it's doing it in the right order. The right sequence has something to do with it, and we've got that right sequence. So
Yeah.
I would love to help.
Yeah, and sequences as an audio editor, they're important, because if you put the EQ after the compressor, then it makes it distorted or whatever, So
Right. See,
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, there are ways to do things that are going to get you to where you want to go much faster, much cleaner, without wasting a lot of time and money. I mean, people will go through years struggling. Just, I'll get there. But they understand this is important. But again, just like you said, I can tell people all the things I do. They're not going to do it.
For sure.
It's kind of the same thing. Most business owners, I know it's important, but I'll get there. And then they turn around 10 years later, and all that missed time and money from saying, I make X amount, but I'd really like to make Y, add up all those months and that gap, and think if you'd have just carved out the time to build that structure, you'd have been making that money all those months. So when you break it down, you look at it, it's kind of a no-brainer. But again, only a select few of real go-getting, individuals will do it.
And what happens is, as a business owner too, is you get so caught up with other things, you neglect the things that you don't even know that you don't know, like you neglect the things that needs to get done because you get so caught up working in your business instead of on it.
Right, and we talked about that a little bit last time too. I mean, people get stuck in that reactive phase of business. First you get in and you're just like, oh, please, just get me somebody to work with. And then you start working with people. Well, now you get busy, and then you just don't get out of being busy. And people are calling the shots on your schedule, and you're not getting to this and you're not getting to that. And then to think, if I have to do this on top, but if you don't, you're going to stay there. Really. I mean, there's no way to get to that proactive stage of business where you are just focusing almost 80% of your time on growing, envisioning, and planning if you don't get yourself out of that reactive mode.
And that's that Pareto principle, the 80-20 principle.
That's right.
Where you spend, 20% of your money, your income comes from 80% of your client, or 20% of your clients comes from your 80% of your money comes from 20% of your clients.
There you go. Yeah.
And if you can really focus on those 20% and quit bottlenecking yourself, essentially, you can really accelerate and go farther, faster.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, you got it.
Yeah. All right, cool. So this has been Ronda Macrory, and you can find her at RondaReady.com.
Yes.
And you guys know what to do. So we'll see you guys, unless you had a statement you wanted to say at the very end.
No, I just appreciate meeting you and being here, and best of luck with you and all your endeavors and what you have going on.
I appreciate that. Well, this has been the Colorado Springs Business Podcast, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.